Her smile, her soft lower lip, her eyes so pale that they nearly disappeared, the precocious groove between her brows, had ensnared her as she grew up. She had been reduced to a Mary scattering talcum and lavender, her hands always at work on bows for presents, bouquets of flowers, small decorative trinkets, lacework and knitting and crochet, all that, yes, a very good girl, upright and sensible, but not a girl to ride or screw or fuck, as we might so crudely put it these days. But why not? Those words say exactly what they mean. Why bother with coy euphemisms, really? What's the point? She was 15 during the war. 15 was the age when girls had to take whatever they could get, kissing all those dashing boys, stretching their tight army uniforms, luring them with their bodies, their hair, their embraces, their desires. Why pretend when time is so short? Why act as if this whole little game wouldn't end this way, with sex in all its forms, indoors in cars in the countryside, in fields of wheat, among trees, clouds, storms, as bombs fell, sex ripping apart cheap clothes and ruining set hair and straining sweet skin. She must have noticed the yellow and blue wool cap perched atop the afro, and she recognized the child from the previous evening, and, without expecting it, felt a painful twinge of happiness deep within her bosom, an emotion so forceful that she reeled and had to steady herself on the door handle. It was him, that child whose hand she'd held, who was now standing in front of the door almost without any expectation. What was this inexplicable new feeling swelling up as she turned the lock almost frenetically and opened the door? They stood immobile for several seconds facing each other as she urged her heart to stop pounding so wildly and tried to regain the breath his presence had stolen away. Cub, examining her face, seemed to sense the intensity of her joy. Had he realized that his return to the house was a miracle she hadn't dared hope for? She led him to the kitchen, asked him if he wanted hot chocolate or orange juice. Orange juice, he said, and he watched astonished as she took a tin of red powder out of the cabinet and poured 2 spoonfuls into a glass she'd filled with tap water. The water took on an almost purplish tint. She held it out, and he nervously sipped a little. As he'd expected, the chemical flavor that filled his mouth was unpleasant. He set down the glass and then, under Mary's worried gaze, drank another mouthful.